Well, I think the relationship, it is critical to the success of a firm. And in particular, I think it breaks down in communications, lack of a clear understanding of vision, and then the strategies and the tactics that support that vision. I think that it often happens where people are coming at it from different values, different motivations, and that translates into behaviors. And when people are not on the same page, I think it is difficult for a firm to really understand the direction, be able to implement the programs that will affect the change that an organization is looking for. So I think it comes from a number of different areas, and ultimately that often leads to conflict. And when conflict happens, conflict tends to become the focus versus what is the vision, what is the strategy, where are we trying to get as a law firm. Well, I think that all of those factor in. I think that a lot of it comes down to understanding that people come at situations from different perspectives, and I think it's the ability to understand those other perspectives. And as I mentioned, behaviors and values are all tied into that. Motivations become a part of it. And we're all sort of born with this innate motivation and values that drive us and then translate into those behaviors. I think that that lack of understanding of those different perspectives is where, again, it can begin to break down and people begin to butt heads or reach that conflict point because they're not able to really look at and understand those varying perspectives. I think one of the challenges in law firms as well is that attorneys aren't necessarily taught to think that way. They're taught about logic and reason. And a lot of it, when you get into the dynamic of dealing with individuals, it's not always logical, it's not always reasonable. A lot of times it comes down to emotions. And being able to understand perspectives as those emotions come into play, I think it's just an important leadership skill that a lot of individuals in law firms struggle to obtain. Well, I think that everybody does have to be on the same page, or at least have that ability to have conversations about not being on the same page. I think what happens quite often is people are coming at it from different angles and decisions won't be made. It becomes that issue of analysis paralysis where the leadership isn't able to make a decision and help guide the firm forward. And I think that that's a responsibility of the law firm leadership. I think it's having that leadership presence and the ability to be persuasive, and which in and of itself is not a point in time. You have to be persuasive over a period of time to help move the law firm forward. I think that when everybody is clicking on those same points, even though you may disagree, I think you're able to have those conversations about the disagreements, make a decision, and then continue to move forward. I think there tends to be, quite frankly, in a lot of law firms, avoidance. It's difficult to have those conversations when it begins to deal with the emotional side of things. If it's all logical and reasonable and we can argue about it or debate it on that level, that's one thing. But when you have to begin talking about feelings and emotions and factor that into how to work through those processes, it becomes very difficult for leadership, I think, on all levels. We have specifically designed this program to really focus on those partnerships, and if that's the managing partner or the executive director or an executive committee along with that executive director or COO. We even believe, even though the program is called the Managing Partner Executive Director Forum, it could be applicable to a practice group and the staff person who helps to support a practice group, or a marketing department and the marketing partner. So we think that it's really applicable for those teams of individuals, and that may be two, it may be more individuals. And we think that the reason that this program is important and will be successful is that we really start with a foundation of focusing on the individual first and building that self-awareness, helping them create that understanding of how they operate, what drives their values, their motivations, their behaviors, and how to be more perceptive of that with other individuals. So we build it from individual self-awareness to how that then begins to work as the team of individuals, and then how that spreads out to the organization. So we think that progression that we have built into this program will really build that strong foundation for the leadership team within a law firm to operate more effectively as a group, and then to push that out when it comes time to deal with strategic planning, or deal with process improvement, or practice group management, or business development and marketing, all of those actual then hands-on types of programs. So we think that that is unique in this program. We use a tool to help individuals understand their values and how that translates into behaviors, where those are strong and maybe they're not as strong as they could be, or they're perceived different ways. So I think that by making it hands-on and collaborative, we're actually building what we want and think that the leadership teams within law firms need to be doing. It needs to be collaborative, it needs to be hands-on, it needs to be interactive. We have designed the program as we work through the format. We really, again, start with the individual. We move into teams. We talk about organization. We then begin to talk about specific initiatives within the law firm. We will utilize a case study that will make it hands-on, where the team, and then working with individuals from other firms, can interact and begin to put the concepts that they have learned, that knowledge and the skills, into practice. And when individuals leave, we want them to actually be focused on a specific project within their firm that they can begin to address. And in that context, we will frame it in a sort of triangular approach of really focusing on the strategy, the tactics, and accountability. How does that apply to the program or the initiative that they really need to provide more leadership to? That could be fairly broad within the law firm, or it could be, again, one of those specific areas that I mentioned earlier.
All right, thank you so much.